In the immense stillness of the Kuiper Belt, the massive spaceship Odyssey stirred from its extended dormancy. As systems awakened from their slumber, lights blinked on and screens illuminated with a flurry of incoming data. The bridge became a hive of activity as crew members readied themselves for the monumental endeavor ahead. Captain Nathaniel Carter stood resolutely at the helm, his eyes locked on the endless expanse of stars visible through the viewport. Beside him, his first officer, Lieutenant Julia Ross, examined the navigation charts. "Captain, all systems are powering up. The engines are heating faster than anticipated," Julia reported, her voice steady yet tinged with excitement. Nathaniel nodded, his mind racing through the mission's protocols. "Good. Let's keep a tight rein on the warm-up sequences. We can't afford any surprises." From the communications station, Chief Officer Brian Lawson spoke up. "I'm attempting to establish contact with Earth Command, but the signal is sporadic. We might find ourselves isolated sooner than expected." "That was always part of the plan," Nathaniel replied, turning to face his crew. "We knew this mission would push us beyond conventional limits. It's not just about making first contact. It's about demonstrating that humanity can confront the unknown with resilience." At the engineering console, Dr. Emily Hart, the lead engineer, adjusted her glasses and said, "The hyperdrive is operational, Captain. We're ready to jump to Gliese 581G whenever you give the go-ahead." Nathaniel assessed the readiness in his crew's eyes. Each member had been chosen not only for their expertise, but for their ability to confront the unknown. He moved to the central table, activating the holographic display to reveal the star system they were approaching. "Let's review this one more time," Nathaniel instructed, the hologram casting a glow on his face. "Gliese 581G is unlike anything we've encountered. Its atmospheric and gravitational readings suggest a highly advanced ecosystem. Our approach must be cautious and non-threatening." Julia leaned over the display, pointing to a cluster of anomalies. "There's unusual electromagnetic activity here. It could indicate advanced technology or be a natural occurrence. We'll need to investigate without provoking any defensive reactions." Brian added, "I've set up automatic translation protocols based on the broadcasts we've intercepted. Our first words will be crucial." Nathaniel glanced around, meeting the eyes of his senior crew. "Julia, you'll manage our orbital insertion. Emily, keep the engines and life support systems running smoothly. Brian, communications are your responsibility. Keep trying to patch through to Earth, but prioritize local signals." The crew nodded, their faces reflecting a blend of resolve and the gravity of their mission. "What if they're hostile?" Emily asked, a trace of concern in her voice. Nathaniel's response was resolute. "If our intentions are clear and our approach is respectful, we can only hope they'll perceive us as we see ourselves, not as conquerors, but as explorers." The Odyssey's engines hummed steadily as the ship transitioned from the deep silence of the Kuiper Belt to the vibrant expanse of space approaching Gliese 581G. The crew worked with synchronized precision, their eyes constantly darting between their consoles and the viewport. The atmosphere on the bridge was a mixture of palpable tension and focused determination. Julia, overseeing the orbital insertion, adjusted the ship's trajectory with practiced ease. Approaching the insertion point, "We'll enter orbit in T-5 minutes, she announced, her voice calm and controlled. Emily monitored the ship's systems with meticulous care. "All systems are stable, Captain. Life support and hyperdrive are functioning within optimal parameters." Brian, stationed at the communications console, continued his efforts to reach Earth. "Still no solid contact with Earth Command. Signal strength remains weak, but I'm picking up a faint, repetitive signal from the planet. It could be a local communication network." "Good work, Brian," Nathaniel acknowledged. He turned his attention back to the holographic display, which now projected a detailed image of Gliese 581G. The planet's surface was marked with swirling atmospheric patterns and complex energy readings. As the ship edged closer, the crew's anticipation grew. The first contact protocols were firmly set in their minds. Julia's hands deftly manipulated the controls, guiding the Odyssey into a stable orbit. "We're in position, Captain, preparing to deploy the observation drones." Nathaniel nodded. "Deploy them." Let's get a closer look at the surface and gather as much data as we can before we attempt any direct communication. The drones were launched with a smooth, practiced motion, each one equipped with advanced sensors and cameras. They began their descent towards Gliese 581G, transmitting real-time data back to the Odyssey. Minutes felt like hours as the drones relayed their findings. The surface of Gliese 581G appeared to be a patchwork of diverse landscapes: lush forests, sprawling deserts, and glistening bodies of water. Energy signatures hinted at sophisticated infrastructure, but no immediate signs of hostile activity. Julia's eyes narrowed as she reviewed the drone footage. The electromagnetic activity seems concentrated around these regions, she said, pointing to several locations on the display. If there's advanced technology here, it's likely centered in these areas. Nathaniel glanced at the readings, his expression thoughtful. We need to be careful. I want to ensure that our approach doesn't inadvertently provoke any defensive mechanisms. Brian, still monitoring communications, reported, "The local signal we're receiving seems to be a repeating pattern. It might be a greeting or a signal of some sort. I'll start translating it." "Excellent," Nathaniel said. "We're moving into the next phase. Julia, keep us in a stable orbit. Emily, maintain our systems at peak efficiency. Brian, prioritize decoding the local signal." The crew worked seamlessly, their movements reflecting years of training and preparation. The tension was thick, but it was tempered by a shared sense of purpose. The Odyssey had crossed the vast reaches of space and was now on the brink of a historic encounter. As the minutes ticked by, Brian's console emitted a soft beep, signaling progress. "Captain, I've managed to partially decode the signal. It appears to be a series of greetings or questions. It's not fully clear yet, but we're getting closer." Nathaniel's eyes shone with determination. "Excellent work, Brian. Prepare to initiate a response. Let them know we come in peace and wish to learn from them." The crew's focus intensified. Julia maintained the ship's orbit with precision. Emily ensured the ship's systems were flawless, and Brian prepared the outgoing message. The moment of first contact was drawing near, and the weight of the mission rested heavily on their shoulders. Nathaniel took a deep breath, his gaze steady as he prepared to deliver the message that would bridge the gap between two worlds. "Here's to a successful first contact," he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. As the Odyssey awaited a reply from Gliese 581G, the crew held their breath, each member acutely aware that they were about to make history. The Odyssey's bridge was silent except for the steady hum of its systems and the occasional beeps from various consoles. Every crew member was acutely aware of the historic nature of their task. Brian's fingers danced over the communication controls as he finalized the outgoing message. "Captain, the message is ready to be sent. It's a simple introduction. We are the crew of the Odyssey, a vessel from Earth. We come in peace and wish to establish a dialogue. We seek mutual understanding and cooperation." Nathaniel nodded, his expression a mix of anticipation and resolve. "Send it, and let's see how they respond." With a deep breath, Brian transmitted the message into the void. The seconds felt like minutes as the crew waited for a response. The holographic display showed the signal being sent, and then they waited for the reception. Julia kept her eyes on the navigation controls, ready to make any necessary adjustments. Emily monitored the ship systems, ensuring everything remained stable. Brian, meanwhile, stared intently at his console, scanning for any incoming signals. Suddenly, the communication console beeped with an incoming signal. Brian's eyes widened. "Captain, we've got a response." The crew leaned in as Brian began to decode the new message. It's a series of visual patterns and sound waves. It appears to be a form of sophisticated code. Nathaniel's pulse quickened. "Translate it as best as you can. We need to understand their intentions and respond accordingly." Brian's fingers moved quickly over the controls, working to decode the complex patterns. As the message slowly became clearer, a holographic image began to form on the central display. It depicted a diverse range of beings, creatures with strikingly different forms, but all seemingly peaceful and inquisitive. "This is incredible," Julia murmured, her eyes fixed on the display. "It looks like they're showing us their own version of greetings and introductions." Brian confirmed, Yes, it seems they are providing us with visual representations of themselves and their environment. They might be trying to establish a form of mutual understanding. Nathaniel took in the display, his mind racing with the implications. Prepare a response. We should reciprocate with similar information about ourselves and our ship. Emphasize our desire for peaceful interaction and collaboration. Emily nodded and began preparing the visual and data transmission, showcasing the Odyssey and its crew, as well as Earth's diverse cultures and achievements. The response was carefully crafted to convey their peaceful intentions and eagerness to learn. Once the message was ready, Brian transmitted it back to Gliese 581G. The crew held their breath, the weight of the moment pressing heavily upon them. The exchange was unlike anything they had experienced, a dance of symbols and signals bridging the gap between worlds. Minutes later, the console beeped again with an incoming reply. Brian's eyes narrowed as he decoded the new message. Captain, they're acknowledging our response. They're providing us with coordinates for a potential meeting point and inviting us to send a landing party for face-to-face contact. Nathaniel's face broke into a smile. This is it. We've made a breakthrough. Prepare the landing team and get ready to deploy the shuttle. Julia started preparations for the shuttle launch, while Emily checked the ship systems for the upcoming operation. Brian continued to monitor communications, ensuring that their link with the beings of Gliese 581G remained stable. As the shuttle was readied for departure, Nathaniel addressed his crew one last time. We're on the cusp of an unprecedented encounter. This is our chance to show that humanity is ready to engage with the cosmos. Let's ensure we make a lasting and positive impression. The crew nodded, their faces a mix of excitement and determination. The shuttle doors opened, and the team prepared to board. Nathaniel, Julia, Emily, and a select few members, including Brian, stepped into the shuttle, ready to take the next step in humanity's grand voyage. As the shuttle detached from the Odyssey and began its descent towards the coordinates provided by Gliese 581G, the crew looked out through the small porthole, their anticipation growing with every passing moment. The landscape of Gliese 581G grew larger and more detailed as they approached. The meeting point was marked by an impressive structure, something that suggested advanced engineering and a welcoming gesture. The shuttle touched down gently on the surface, and the crew prepared to make their historic exit. With a final glance at the Odyssey, Nathaniel led his team towards the unknown, stepping out onto the alien soil with a sense of awe and purpose. They were about to make history, and they were determined to do it with respect and diplomacy. The first contact had begun, and the future of humanity's relationship with the inhabitants of Gliese 581G was about to unfold. The shuttle's hatch opened with a hiss, and the crew of the Odyssey stepped onto the surface of Gliese 581G. They were greeted by a breathtaking view, a landscape of rolling hills, vibrant flora, and a sky that shifted in hues of deep violet and emerald green. The air was crisp, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of unfamiliar but pleasing aromas. As Nathaniel, Julia, Emily, and Brian disembarked, they noticed a procession of beings approaching them from the distance. The figures were a remarkable blend of forms and colors, some tall and slender, others shorter with more rounded features. Their movement was graceful, and they seemed to radiate an aura of curiosity and warmth. The beings halted a short distance from the shuttle, their forms shifting slightly as if communicating amongst themselves. Then, one of them stepped forward. It had a tall, elegant frame with shimmering blue skin and multifaceted eyes that glowed softly. Nathaniel took a deep breath and stepped forward, extending a hand in the universal gesture of peace. Greetings. I am Captain Nathaniel Carter of the Odyssey. We come in peace from Earth and seek to establish friendly relations. The blue-skinned figure tilted its head and made a series of melodious sounds that resonated with the environment. As the being spoke, a device on its chest projected an immediate translation in holographic text. Welcome, travelers from Earth. We are honored by your visit. I am Lyra, ambassador of the Seraph. We extend our hand in friendship. Nathaniel's face brightened. Thank you, Ambassador Lyra. We are eager to learn about your people and your world. We hope to share knowledge and experiences that will benefit both our civilizations. Lyra's eyes shimmered with what Nathaniel interpreted as approval. We have prepared a place for dialogue and exchange. Please follow us. The group followed Lyra and the Seraph delegation towards a nearby structure, a grand, circular building with iridescent walls that seemed to change color as they moved. The building appeared to be a blend of natural and architectural elements, harmoniously integrated into the landscape. Inside, the ambience was warm and inviting, with soft, ambient lighting and a serene atmosphere. The room they entered was designed for conversation and exchange, with comfortable seating arranged in a circle and a central display projecting information about Gliese 581G. Lyra gestured for the Odyssey crew to take their seats. This is the Hall of Harmony. Here, we share our cultures and discuss our futures. Let us begin by learning more about each other. Nathaniel took a seat, signaling his crew to do the same. Emily connected a device to the central display, which began showing images and data about Earth and the Odyssey, highlighting humanity's achievements, cultures, and scientific advancements. Lyra watched with great interest, occasionally making sounds that seemed to express appreciation. When it was Lyra's turn, the display shifted to show the history, technology, and daily life of the Seraph. The Seraph were a species with a deep connection to their planet, and their technology was impressive, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of energy and ecology. The exchange was enlightening. The Seraph showed their advancements in renewable energy and environmental stewardship, while the Odyssey crew presented humanity's progress in science, technology, and cultural diversity. The conversation was punctuated by moments of mutual fascination and respect. As the meeting progressed, Nathaniel could sense a growing bond forming between the two groups. Lyra's enthusiasm for the exchange was evident, and the Seraph responded with genuine interest in learning about Earth. After several hours of dialogue and sharing, Lyra addressed the group. This has been a remarkable exchange. We have much to learn from each other. We would like to continue this dialogue and explore ways to collaborate in the future. Nathaniel smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. We would be honored to continue our cooperation. There is much we can achieve together. The crew of the Odyssey and the Seraph concluded their meeting with a ceremonial gesture, a shared expression of goodwill that involved a blend of gestures and sounds from both cultures. It was a moment of unity, symbolizing the beginning of a new chapter in interstellar relations. As the Odyssey crew prepared to return to their ship, Nathaniel reflected on the day's events. The first contact had been a success, and the future held the promise of exciting new partnerships and discoveries. Lyra accompanied them to the shuttle, their parting words full of optimism. Safe travels, Captain Carter and crew. We look forward to our continued friendship and collaboration. Nathaniel and his team boarded the shuttle, the weight of their historic achievements sinking in. The descent back to the Odyssey was filled with a sense of fulfillment and anticipation for the future. Once aboard the Odyssey, the crew gathered in the bridge, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the control panels. Nathaniel addressed them with a sense of pride and gratitude. Today, we took a monumental step for humanity. We've made a meaningful connection with the Seraph, and we've opened doors to future collaboration and discovery. Well done, everyone. The crew exchanged smiles and nods of agreement. The Odyssey was now more than a ship on a mission. It was a symbol of humanity's quest for understanding and connection in the vast expanse of space. As the Odyssey prepared to leave Gliese 581G and continue its journey through the stars, the crew looked out at the planet they had just visited. They knew that their adventure was far from over, and that many more discoveries awaited them. With renewed purpose and a sense of excitement, they set their course for the next chapter in their interstellar journey, ready to face whatever the cosmos had in store for them.